Hey, you're watching This Brand Geek, and in this video I want to talk to you about something that's just popped up in my newsfeed, and that is that a police force in the UK, namely the Yorkshire Police Force, has declared successful AI trial results. Now you may be wondering what this is about. I certainly did not know that this was going on, but I think it's worth talking about, and I also think it's kind of funny. So sit back, relax, and I'll tell you everything that's going on with the police in the front line using AI potentially to determine whether or not someone should be arrested or not. This is wild. Let's get into it. I mean, before you implement artificial intelligence into a prison, how about having some actual intelligence there first? Get this solved, because this is costing actual human lives. So the first story that I want to look at comes from uktech.news, and this is the article here. Yorkshire Police Force declares successful AI trial results. Project Moriarty saw Humberside police officers test out a digital mentor called Cecil, or Cecil AI, or Cecil. I want to go with Cecil. This article came out a few days ago, but it slipped under the radar because I haven't seen anyone else talking about this. There was also another article from The Standard about AI chatbots being used in HMP Wandsworth. Now, HMP Wandsworth is the prison in South London that I think is the one that's releasing all these prisoners. A lot of prisons around the UK are releasing prisoners early by mistake, prisoners that should be in prison. So I will also touch on this story, but the one that I'm more interested in right now is this one. So let's take a look at what they're saying, and then I'll tell you what I think about it. So a trial of a new AI tool used in a police force in Yorkshire has been described as a success, with potential officer time savings being over 23,000 hours a year. Humberside Police conducted the trial, called Project Moriarty, in partnership with Coas Software, the National Police Chiefs Council, NPCC, and the National Science and Innovation Board, the NSIB. The AI tool, called Cecil, was built using the curated knowledge base of official police policy, guidance, and legislation, with no external or public data used. Well, that's refreshing. The chatbot was then deployed amongst officers of Humberside Police, who could ask it questions about various situations and receive responses based on analysis of official procedure. There's a reason that they're implementing this AI, by the way, is because a lot of the officers in the police force have been there for less than 5 years, so they don't know correct police procedure. So now they're having an AI chatbot like ChatGPT, but this is like a bespoke one where they can ask it questions and make sure that they're not doing anything that's against official police procedure. Anyways, a funny example I thought of was, let's say that you get pulled over one day and the officer is quite young and new to the force, and then they stand there with their phone in their hand and they're like, should I arrest this person or should I let this person go? And then you're sitting there and he's standing there and you're waiting for this AI to load and come back to him. And then all of a sudden it's like, send that man to jail, and then you're arrested. Or you could get lucky and it could say, computer says no, let him go, and then they let you go. I just think this whole thing is bizarre, but let's carry on reading because I think this is really interesting because it's a sign of things to come, and I think we should carry on reading. So let's see what else they're saying. I think this would be very useful from an investigation view, as it has all the data readily accessible for officers. This would improve investigation standards if they had the information on their devices, said a trial participant and detective constable at Humberside Police. The tool was particularly useful. They've got a typo there. The tool was particularly useful due to the increasing lack of police experience among officers in England and Wales. Recent data found that 35% of officers have fewer than 5 years service, compared with just 14% in 2016. Oh, so it sounds like a lot of the older guys in the police force are leaving, while voluntary leaver rates among those with less than 5 years experience are at an all-time high. So not only are the older guys leaving, the people that have been there for less than 5 years are also leaving in record numbers by the looks of it. What the hell is going on in our police force? Software developer Coas said that this inspired the creation of the digital police mentor. The Project Moriarty trial with Humberside Police showed how the Cecil AI assistant can deliver real-time guidance to officers in the field. So it looks like they will be using this in the field. So maybe at some point, if you're pulled over or potentially getting arrested, you'll see one of the officers standing there talking to a chatbot, asking it what the hell they should do to you, or whether or not you have in fact broken the law and if they can or can't arrest you. The whole thing just sounds like something out of a science fiction novel, seriously. When combined with the power of Policebox to digitize frontline policing, it has the potential to transform efficiency and enhance community engagement, exactly in line with the Home Office mission to keep officers in communities equipped with the right tools and information. Fair enough, you wouldn't want people being arrested for no reason, right? And if they have a reason to arrest you, then I guess you'll get arrested. But I'm sure that there are many cases where people are being arrested when they shouldn't be arrested. So hopefully they can use this tool and it could bring down the number of arrests that shouldn't have been made in the first place. But in contrast to that, I think that I would rather have a police force which is full of officers that have been there for more than 5 years and know the law inside out and know what they're doing, instead of having a bunch of officers running around with iPads asking an AI questions on whether or not you might have broken the law. I just think the whole thing is just weird. Let's continue. According to the trial results, it has been estimated that if used to answer 100% of procedural queries, Cecil could save officers at Humberside Police over 23,000 hours per year. How? 23,000 hours a year? Is that because officers can now just ask it questions about procedures they have to follow instead of going through like a guidebook, like a police handbook, and looking things up manually? If that's the case, then yeah, it kind of makes sense. And maybe they can use those 23,000 hours that they're saving every year to do some other police work. Like maybe if your car gets stolen or something, maybe now they can use some of those 23,000 hours to actually show up and, I don't know, maybe investigate. Because I thought that's what police officers were supposed to do. I read something a few months ago where one of these officers, not in Humberside Police I don't think, where she was kind of exposing the police and she was saying that they don't really investigate crimes anymore. Most of what they do is just filling in forms, and how she would love to investigate crimes, but they just don't have the time for it anymore. And they're kind of walking around with their hands tied behind their backs because they're either too scared to do anything about crimes or they're simply not allowed to. So everything is just filling in forms and statistics, and crimes never get solved, which is probably why there's such an increase of crime in London. Like, you've probably heard about phone snatchers in London, where you're walking around with your phone and then someone on an electric bike will just come whizzing past and they'll snatch the phone out of your hand and you're never going to catch them. That's been a problem in London for quite a while now. And I don't really see the police doing much about it. I mean, they might arrest 1 or 2 guys here and there, but this is a real problem in London. Even to the point now where parts of the pavement are painted reminding you to put your phone away and be wary of phone snatchers. Maybe if the police had the powers to go and actually arrest these people and the time and the resource, maybe that could change. But right now, it looks like it's not going to change, and crime in London and in other parts of England and the UK will just continue to worsen for more reasons than one. Anyways, let's finish this article and then we'll sum up, and we'll also look at the AI chatbot being used in the prison. Project Moriarty has shown how AI can enhance officer confidence and consistency in real time. By placing guidance directly in officers' hands, we're helping them make better decisions for the communities they serve. Okay, great, well done. I think this sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, slightly dystopian, but at the same time, if it helps our shrinking police forces save 23,000 hours per year, and it makes the consistency in arresting people more in line with the procedures and the actual law that they need to follow, then maybe it's a good thing. But time will tell. I just think it's kind of funny how you could be standing there and then they're standing there with an iPad trying to work out whether or not you've committed a crime and what they should do about it. I don't think that increases confidence in the police at the moment. I think that kind of decreases confidence in the police, because you want the officer to be in a position of authority and respect where they know the law and they know what they're doing. Whereas if they're standing there just typing into an iPad trying to decide what the hell is going on, I think that would erode confidence in the police rather than increase it. But maybe over time that will change. I don't know. Anyways, let's take a quick look at this other article about another AI chatbot that's being used in HMP Wandsworth prison to stop inmates being wrongly freed. Now, of course, there's been a lot in the media recently about this, and this at a glance section here kind of summarizes it nicely. An AI chatbot is being deployed in crisis-hit HMP Wandsworth to stop more inmates being wrongly freed. The government has given the green light to the jail in southwest London using AI to try to toughen up release checks. 40 more inmates could be wrongly released before Christmas from jails across the country if tighter security is not implemented. So basically, it looks like the problem with HMP Wandsworth, from something I read further down, is this bit here. Responding to questions in the upper chamber on Monday, Lord Timpson said the number of releases per prison varies dramatically. In HMP Gartree, they average 2 releases a year, whereas, as I previously said, in Wandsworth, it's 2,000. But that is why the digital team last week went into HMP Wandsworth to look at what are the opportunities for some quick fixes to embrace digital technology. We had the AI team that went in and to give you... Who wrote this? Oh, there's a missing comma. Oh, for God's sakes, please write properly. I'll read it as if there was a comma now. We had the AI team that went in, and to give you a couple of examples, they think that an AI chatbot would be really helpful, and also a cross-referencing for aliases, because we know some offenders have more than 20 aliases. So is that the problem they're facing then? Lots of these prisons have multiple aliases, and some of the aliases might be the same. So instead of releasing an inmate with a certain alias, I don't know, let's call him the Bull. because I'm drinking Red Bull. I can't think of anything else. And then there's another inmate called the Bull, and they're like, oh, you're free to go. And then they released the wrong one. So the guy that was due to be released stays in prison, and the one that just got 20 years in prison gets released after 2 weeks by mistake and then goes on to kill someone else. Is that really the issue here? Don't they look at their pictures before they release them? Like, okay, this is the bull that we need to get rid of, and he has a mustache and a tattoo of a bull on his forehead, and the guy that we're releasing doesn't have any tattoos, and he's also 1 foot shorter. But oh, his alias says the Bull, so this must be him. Just let him go. I mean, it can't be that difficult. I mean, before you implement artificial intelligence into a prison, how about having some actual intelligence there first? I mean, if you're releasing people early by mistake, that's a real problem. And I don't think AI is going to fix that. It might help improve those numbers by holding people's hands, people that are really stupid and lack intelligence. But artificial intelligence isn't a fix for stupid people. If you're stupid, you're not going to use the artificial intelligence properly either, are you? I think there's a real problem here. More needs to be done about this, instead of just throwing a chatbot in and saying, hey, these people have the same alias. Which one should I release? Because I'm too dumb to look at the pictures and say, oh, this guy looks like the guy we should release, and this guy looks like a mass murderer that got 30 years in prison. Oh, I suppose it must be this one. Do they not have pictures in prisons or descriptions of the inmates? How is this even happening? I just don't understand. Anyways, let's take a quick look at the rest of this. Oh, that's David Lammy. He's our Justice Secretary now. Yeah, that's a face you can trust. HMP Wandsworth is suffering from acute staffing shortages. Why am I not surprised? Many prisons also rely heavily on paperwork rather than a computerized system for the release of inmates. I mean, you would think that keeping people in prison that need to be in prison would be a bit of a priority. Well, clearly it isn't, because you've got staffing shortages and everything else in the prison seems to be antiquated. Get this solved, because this is costing actual human lives. I'll finish up by reading this last bit here of this article. We'll summarize, and then that'll be the end of this video. Kind of deflated reading this, and it just seems to be a lack of them caring. I mean, this can't be a difficult issue to fix. Release this person, don't release this person. This is what the guy that's being released looks like. Does that person match the description? Yes, let him go. How do you get that wrong? I just don't get it. Ministers have admitted that 40 more prisoners could be wrongly released before Christmas from jails around the country unless tougher checks are introduced or more intelligence. The crisis escalated into a huge public storm after Epping sex offender Hadush Kebatu was freed in error from HMP Chelmsford before being rearrested and deported to Ethiopia. The former asylum seeker, who had been living at the Bell Hotel in Epping, Essex, when he sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl and a woman, was given a £500 payment after threatening to disrupt his removal. Wait, so he sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl and a woman, and then they paid him for it? I give up. I don't know what else to say. I think this country's gone insane, and that's an understatement. I don't know what else to say without just going off on one on this video, so I think I'll end it there. Anyways, what do you think about UK police forces using an AI chatbot out in the field when they're actually arresting someone? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Do you not really care? I personally think it's kind of hilarious. It's kind of terrifying because it's another dystopian thing that's coming into the UK. I mean, we haven't even talked about facial recognition technology being introduced all over the country. Maybe I'll talk about that in another video. But anyways, what are your thoughts on this? And even the prison thing. I mean, am I right in my assumptions here, or have I totally missed the mark? Let me know in the comment section below. I do respond to pretty much every comment, so go ahead and do that. And whilst you're there, give this video a like if you enjoyed it or found it informative in any way, and please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. You've been watching This Brand Geek. I'll catch you in the next one.